श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम ओम सहनावतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति शांति शांतिः स वक्तव्यः शब्दस्य अर्थस्य च मर्यादा न निरधारी भवता इति. So he should be said that you have not understood the limits of Maryada means limit. The limits of the words and the meaning. What are we talking about? Who should be said? See, we spoke about the different schools, what they think about Yaga, etc. And then we spoke about the Vedanta school. And then there we spoke about the Sannyasa. There the Purupakshi opted to establish that anashita karma phalam karyam karma karoti as a sannyasi. Based on the way the shloka here, he said one who without depending upon the results of karma, not being attached to the results of karma, if he is going to perform the karmas, then he is called as a sannyasi. Since it is said very clearly, anashritah karma phalam, without being dependent upon, attached to the results of the karma, one who performs the karma is called a sannyasi. So he wants us to accept that person as a sannyasi. For him, we say that is not the idea actually, because you are coming to this kind of conclusion because you don't know how to decipher the meaning and the word. How do you know? Yes. How do you know? So for that he is bringing tatahi. This is how. Gauna mukhyarthayoho mukhye karya sampratyah iti shabdasya maryadaha. So it is said gauna mukhyarthayo mukhye karya sampratyah. When we are going to discuss about the gauna and mukhya, then you have to resort to the mukhya. You have to base your knowledge on the mukhya. When there are gauna, secondary, and there are mukhya, primary references to the meaning or the word, with reference to the word he is saying. When the word is denoting, a primary meaning and a secondary meaning, you have to resort always to the primary meaning, the primary knowledge of the word. Okay? Like what? He is giving an example. यथा अमावास्यायाम् अपराह्ने पिण्डपितृयज्ञेन सरन्ति इत्यत्र. अमावास्यायाम् अपराह्ने, अपराह्ने means in the afternoon of amavasya. Let us have it as of amavasya. Pindapitruyajnena, you have to do this pitruyajna. Pitruyajna means pinda, you have to give the rice balls to the pitrus, ancestors. Okay, you have to offer them. Only in the afternoon they do it. Iti charanti. This is how it is said. Amavasyayam. In the amavasya. What does this amavasya mean? In the amavasya. Is in the amavasya a time, or in the amavasya a place? In the amavasya some particular object. You understand? It can be anything. In the time at the time of amavasya, in the time of amavasya, at the time of amavasya, in the place called amavasya, possible. In this amavasya karma. Amavasya is a karma. Okay. Now there is no place called amavasya, so we will negate it instantly. So there is no place which is called as amavasya. So in amavasya, in the place called amavasya, you should no, there is no possibility. That is not a possibility. So we can negate that instantly. There are only two options now. One, in the time of amavasya, amavasya means new moon day, in the time of amavasya, or with respect to the amavasya karma. So, if you accept, now understand this. If you accept in the time of Amavasya, there is one meaning. You have to perform during the Amavasya period, you have to perform this Pinda Pitru Yajna in the afternoon. That is the meaning. If you accept this Amavasya as a karma, then what happens? In the Amavasya karma, you have to do Pinda Pitru Yajna in the afternoon. Okay. Now, this Pinda Pitru Yajna becomes a anga, becomes a part of this Amavasya karma. Do you understand? See, if you accept Amavasya period, time period, then this you have to perform this karma during this Pinda Pitru Yajna during this Amavasya time. Now, if you don't accept it as a time period, if you accept it as a karma, then for the Amavasya karma, this Pinda Pitru Yajna becomes a limb. Okay, that is what he says. Iti Amavasya Shabdah Kale Mukhyaha. So, what does that Amavasya mean? Amavasya here refers to the time period. That is the primary meaning. That Kalotpanne Karmanicha Gaunaha. And the karma which is performed during that time period, for that it is in secondary sense. Evam Vidvan Amavasyayam Jate Ityado. In a person, like in Evam Vidvan Amavasyayam Yajate, here the Amavasyayam is secondary sense. In the person, one who understands this, when he performs the yaga in the Amavasya, now that Amavasya is the karma. Tatra Amavasyayam iti karma grahane pitru yajnasya tadangatvat na phalam kalpaniyam vidher laghavam iti purvakshitam Katyayana. There is one acharya called Katyayana who brings up this doubt. It is his purvaksha. It is his opposition. He says, see, if you accept Amavasya as a time, that is a different thing. Okay, fine. But if you accept Amavasya as a karma, then this Pinda Pitru Yajna becomes a limb to that karma, becomes a part of that karma. Therefore, you don't have to accept another result for Amavasya or accept another result for this Pinda Pitru Yajna. Simple. There will be only one result, because this is a part of that main karma. There is no need for another result to be imagined for this Pinda Pitru Yajna. This makes the injunction simple. If an injunction is complete with one result, then if you are going to accept another karma as a limb to that injunction, you don't have to imagine another result. So instead of imagining a result, accepting it to be a limb for another karma is simple. Laghavam, that is why he calls it Laghavam. Iti Katyayana. This is what Katyayana says. Angam va samavivyaharat. It should be accepted as anga, because that is how it can be counted upon. That is how you see it there in that karma. So in this way, he very clearly says that this Pinda Pitru Yajna is anga, is a limb for that Amavasya karma. Therefore, you have no problem with reference to this iti. गौणार्थस्य मुख्यार्थ उपस्थितिः पूर्वकत्वात् मुख्यार्थस्य च इह अबाधात् अमावास्या शब्देन काल एव गृह्यते फलकल्पना गौरवं तु उत्तरकालीनं प्रमाणत्वात् अंगीकार्यमिति सिद्धान्तितं जैमिना. But Jaimini says, see, only when there is a primary meaning possible, you can imagine a secondary meaning. This is how you see in the world. Like this example, you have some world competition, some games, Asian games or Olympic games or some world championship, something. Now you have first prize, second prize, third prize. There is no fourth prize, etc. Though they count as fourth, fifth, etc. But there is only first prize, second prize, third prize, gold, silver, and bronze. Over. Now they have these rules. You should not take dopes. You should not take enhancement drugs, etc. Right? So a person is declared winner, and after the game, after the declaration of him being a winner or her being a winner, they take the urine sample and all that, and they test for medicine. prohibited medicine, and that trace of the medicine is very clearly visible in the sample. So immediately what they do is they declare the first declaration null and void, meaning they declare that whatever they declared earlier that he or she won the gold becomes null and void. Now that means the second person who won the silver will become gold medalist. The bronze medalist will become silver. The fourth one will become bronze medalist. Do you understand? So only when there is a primary, there can be secondary. If there is no primary at all, then where can there be secondary, etc.? That is why he says. And I told you about the result. There is no issue with the result because we can understand this result with some other association with the main karma. So that is why he says, this is what Jaimini Acharya says in the sutra. Pitru yajna swakalatvat anangam syat iti. Pitru yajna is not is belongs to that period. Therefore, it is not anga. See, only if it is belonging to some other period, if it is some other period, then it is a possibility. But it is swakala. If it is of that period, so that is not anga. That is not a limb. So, since it is not a limb, you don't have to imagine another result for that. Right? So, he says, evam ste. Okay. That is karma kanda. He is bringing the karma kanda to give you a sense of what is happening. Now you have two meanings. One is the primary meaning and the secondary meaning. Now should you resort to this primary meaning or secondary meaning? That is the problem here. Because the contention here is sannyasi, this word. Should I accept the sannyasi or person who gives up the results of the karma, the attachment to the results of the karma? He is also called a sannyasi, right? So, should I accept him to be the sannyasi? Who is the sannyasi here referred? That is, for that he says, Eam ste sannyasi shabdasya sarva karma tyagini mukhyatvad karmani cha falatyaga samyena gaunatvat mukhyarthasya cha iha abadhat tasyeva sannyasi shabdena grahanti. See, sannyasi, this word here refers to the primary meaning of the word sannyasi refers to the person who has given up attachment to all the karmas. Who given up all the karmas. That is the primary meaning. The secondary meaning is the person who has given up the attachment to the results of the karmas. Okay. Now, when will you take the secondary meaning? When the primary meaning is knocked off. Now, the primary meaning is not, there is no reason for the primary meaning to be knocked. Therefore, the primary meaning remains the primary meaning. Therefore, he says, sanyashabdena grahanamiti tasyeva sanyasham. So, you have to give up, you have to understand that the primary meaning, which is a person who has given up all the karmas, should be referred to as a sannyasi. Shabda maryadaya siddham. This is how we understand through the limitations of word. Satyam karna samagriyam karyotpadeti cha artha maryada. What is the artha maryada? What is the limit of the meaning? When there is the necessary materials for the cause, the effect will, the causal material, whatever causal, not material cause, whatever causal materials exist, then the effect will definitely be produced. Causal ingredients, otherwise we can say, samagri means ingredients. The cause ingredients are there, available, then the effect should take place. Like seed is material cause. Just because there is seed does not make the sprouts, etc. But if you have the proper temperature, if you have the proper wetness of the grain, if you have proper environment, etc., then the seed will sprout. Okay. So, karana samagri, the material ingredient, the ingredients necessary for the effect, if it exists, then the effect will definitely exist. That is what is the limitations of the meaning. That's I didn't understand that. Okay, I'll explain it with an example. He says, Ishwararpanena tyakta sarvakarma phalasyapi sattva shuddhyartham nityani karmani anutishtato अंतराले मृतस्य प्रागर्जितैः कर्मभिः त्रिविधं शरीरग्रहणं केन वार्यते? Who is negating? केन वार्यते? Who is negating here? Negating what? A person who performed the karmas with the sense of surrender of results to the Ishvara, because the results will definitely be produced if you perform the karmas. And if you are going to not surrender it to, not give it to anyone, then you are going to experience it yourself. Now I am surrendering to Ishvara. When I surrender it to Ishvara, I gain the purity of heart. And this person who is performing the karmas with the sense of purity of heart, etc. Now, while performing this karma, these karmas, what happens is he dies. Antarale, in between. Antarale means in between. When he was performing for the sake of knowledge, while performing it, even before gaining the knowledge, he dies. So what happens to him? So for him, he said, pragarjitehi karmabihi. The karmas which he has gained earlier, the punyas and papas which he has gained earlier, is going to definitely give him the results. And what kind of result is? Trividham shariragrahanam kena varyate. 3 kinds of body. Who is negating it? Good, bad, and ugly. We saw ishtam, ashtam, mishram cha. So that is definitely going to happen. Yo va etadakshram gadya viditva sma lokat prayati sakrapana iti shrutehi. He is a very, very, very pitiable person. One who, without understanding this self, leaves from this world is very pitiable. Iti this Shruti also says. Antatah sattva shuddhi phalajnana utpatyartham tad adhikari shariramapi tasyaha avashyakamiva. See, finally what it boils down to is he should have to have a proper body, conducive body for the knowledge to take place. We already said that the body of a dog or a pig is not capable of experiencing the pleasures of Indra. So even if you want to have gain the knowledge, you have to have a proper body. Proper body, what does that mean? Fat, lean, tall, short, man, woman. No, these are not with respect to that kind of body. The body which we mean is a body which is healthy, which has a mind which is strong enough, capable enough to discern the right from the wrong, the non-self from the self, etc., to gain the vairagya, etc., and be able to follow through that vairagya. That is the body we are talking about. So, अतएव, that is why Dividisha sannyasina shravanadikam kurvato antakale, it should be antarale. Antarale mritasya yoga prashta shabda vachyasya. So, a person who is Vividisha sannyasi. Vividisha sannyasi means a person who has taken up sannyasa for the sake of knowledge. So, now, while performing the shravana, etc., he dies in between without gaining the knowledge. Now, that person is referred to with the word yoga brashta in this very Bhagavad Gita. Shushinam Shrimatam Gehe Yoga Brashto Vijayate. In the 6th chapter, he said he is born in a very pious and a comfortable place. Shrimatam need not be wealthy family, comfortable place. That is the idea here. Okay? Ityadina. Jnanadhikari Sharira Praptir Avashyam Bhavini Ti Nirnitam. So, for a person who desires knowledge, he needs to have an embodiment. This is established. Just take in the 6th chapter. Yatra sarvakarma tyaginaha api ajnasya shariragrahanam avashyakam tatra kim vaktavyam ajnasya karmina iti. See, even if a person who has given up the karmas for the sake of knowledge, still he is an ignorant. So, for the sake of knowledge, he has given up the karma. That person becomes a yoga prashta and is born again. If we are saying that, then should we even talk about the person who is ignorant and he is still performing the karmas? There is no need. So, iti tasman, therefore, ajnasya avashyam shariragranam iti artha maryadaya siddham parakrantam cha eka bhavika paksha nirakarane suribhi. Therefore, the ignorant one will definitely have to gain another embodiment is established. Therefore, we have completely comfortably negated, refuted the people who talk about ekabhavika. Ekabhavika means one birth, one death. By who has narrated the Suribihi? By people who are smart, sharp, intelligent. By them, this is already completely negated. तस्माद् यथोक्तं भगवत पूज्यपाद भाष्यकृतं व्याख्यानमेव विजायः. Therefore, here in this respect, whatever is written by Bhagavan Bhashyakara in his Bhashya is superior. There is no doubt about it. Tad ayam atra nishkarsha. This is the essence. Nishkarsha means essence. This is the essence here. Akartru, abhoktru, paramananda, advitiya, satya, swaprakasha, brahmatma sakshat karena, nirvikalpena, vedanta vakya janyena, vichara nishchita pramanyena, sarva prakara apramani shanka shunyena, brahmatma jnanena, atma jnana nivruttau. See, Atma Ajnana Nivartau, when the ignorance of the self is annihilated, removed, negated, refuted, till that all the other are ena. They are all adjective to each other. So he says the self sakshatkarena, through the immediate knowledge of Brahmatma Jnana, the immediate knowledge of non-dual self, which is what? Which is akartru, non-doer, which is abhoktru, non-experiencer, paramananda, absolute bliss, advitiya, non-dual, satya, existence, truth, swaprakasha, self-effulgent. With this immediate knowledge, and what kind of immediate knowledge? Nirvikalpena. With this immediate nirvikalpa is without any choice. Choiceless knowledge, choiceless liberation. Meaning without any adjectives, without any doubts. With this knowledge, how is that knowledge? Nirvikalpa jnana gained. Vedanta vakya janyena, which is gained through the Vedantic statements. And how do you gain through the Vedantic statement? Vichara nishchita pramanya, through the pramana established through the inquiry. Sarva prakara apramani shanka shunyena, and through that, what do you refer? You refute any doubt regarding its validity. You gain the validity through the inquiry, and by that inquiry you also refute the absence of validity in that Vedantic statement. Okay, people think that it is non-valid, etc., invalid, etc. That is negated. Through that you gain the Brahmatma Jnana, and through that Brahmatma Jnana your Atma Ajnana is removed. Then तत्कार्य कर्तृत्वादि अभिमान रहितः परमार्थ सन्यासी. So when the cause is refuted, then its effect, the identification with I, mine, etc., all that is refuted. So when that is refuted, he is paramartha sannyasi. He is the real sannyasi. In sannyasi in the absolute sense, sarva karma uchchedat, and for him there is no cause. Therefore, there is no possibility for any karma existence. Therefore, shuddha kevalaha. So he becomes pure without any association with the karma and its effect, and the kevalaha, non-dual. Sun, being that na vidya karmadi nimittam punah sharira graham anubhavati. So sharira graham na anubhavati. He does not experience another body which is caused by ignorance, because his ignorance is refuted, negated, annihilated. Therefore, there is no possibility of him gaining another embodiment. Sarva brahmanam karana uchchedena uchchedat, because all the erroneous knowledge is completely destroyed because of the destructions of its cause. The cause of erroneous knowledge is ignorance. Because of the negation of ignorance, all the erroneous knowledge is removed. Yastu avidyavan kartuttvadi bhimani deha bharat trividaha. Stragadi dosha pravalyat kamya nishiddhadi yatheshta karmanusthai. Okay. Yes to avidyavan. But in the other hand, one who is ignorant, kartrutva abhimani, one who is identification, one who has identification with the doership, etc. Dehabhrata. This Dehabhrata, the one who is embodied, this is who? A person who is ignorant. So, sir, that ignorant, Trividaha, they are of three types. Ragadi dosha varavalyad, kamya nishiddhadi, yateshta karmanusthai. Because of the power of desire, hatred, etc., he has not given up the desire propelled karmas and the prohibited karmas, and he performs as he wishes. Yateshtachari, he performs as he wishes, the good, bad, ugly, everything. Moksha Shastra Anadhikari Ekaha. So he is not eligible for the Moksha Shastra. This is the first one. We are talking about three types. This is the first type. Person who is ineligible for Vedanta Shastra. Okay, and because he is performing the prohibited and desire propelled karmas as he wishes. Apparas, to the second one. Yaha pragrita sukurta vashat kinchit prakshina ragadi dosha sarvakarmani tyaktum ashaktuman nishiddhani kamyani cha parityajya nityani naimittikani cha karmani falabhisandityagena sattva-shuddhyartham anutishtan gauna sannyasi moksha shastra adhikari dvitiya saha. The second type is because of the karmas, which good karmas, punya karmas, which he has performed in the previous birth, his defect of desire, hatred, etc. are somewhat cleansed. They have been removed somewhat. Therefore, sarvani karmani tektum ashaktvanapi. Though he is incapable of giving up all the karmas. He gives up the attachment to the desire-propelled karmas and prohibited karmas, but still performs the nitya naimiti karmas, the daily routines and the occasion compulsory routines. Okay, those karmas he performs, and those karmas also without any attachment to the results he performs. Sattva shuddhyata, for the sake of purity of heart. He is called as gauna sannyasi, secondary sannyasi, and he is eligible for the moksha, liberation. He is eligible. We are not saying he gains liberation. He is eligible for moksha shastra and moksha. Okay, for the Vedanta shastra and Vedanta. You. Third one, tataha nitya naimiti karmanushthanena antakarana shuddhya samupjata vividishaha shravanadina vedanam moksha sadhanam sampapadeshu sarvani karmani viditaha parityajya brahmanishtam gurum upasarpati vividisha sannyasi samakshya tritiya. Tataha, after that, what happens is he has performed the Nitya Naimitya Karma, and because of Nitya Naimitya Karma practice, his mind has become purified, and because of that, he has gained the Vividisha, the desire to know the self, and because of that, he enters into Shravana, etc., and the means of moksha, this practice for moksha, and for gaining that, desiring to gain that means of Shravana, etc., he gives up all the karmas, viditaha parityajya, through the Vedic rituals. Viditaha means through the injunction, through the Vedic rituals. It's not like I give up. No. Through the Vedic rituals, he gives up. And after that, he resorts to a Brahmanishtha guru, a guru who knows the self and desires to know that self. That one who desires to know who is a renunciate is the primary meaning of sannyasi. That is the third one. The first one is not a sannyasi, he is a samsari. The second one, though he is a samsari, is a sannyasi in partial sense, secondary sense. The third one is real sannyasi. That is the idea. Tatra. Adyasya samsaritvam sarvaprasthi. The first one, I don't have to even say that he is a samsari, because he is a samsari. It is common knowledge for everyone. A person who has not given up any karmas, who desires and who hates things which is not good for him, that kind of person is never a sannyasi and is not eligible for moksha. It's very clear. द्वितीयस्य तु अनिष्टम इष्टम इत्यादिना व्याख्यातम. The second one was already established through अनिष्टम इष्टम मिश्रम च त्रिविधम कर्म फलम इति we have already explained it. तृतीयस्य तु अयति श्रद्धयोपेत इति प्रथम इति प्रश्नमुत्थाप्य निर्णीतं षष्ठे. In the sixth chapter we have already explained by raising this doubt, one who is not a yati, one who is not a sannyasi but has the proper shraddha etc., what will happen to him. With this kind of a doubt we have already answered that. Ajnasya samsaritvam dhruvam karanam karana samagriyah sattva. Definitely ignorant will have dhruvam nishchitam, definitely the ignorant will have another birth, because the causal ignorance is existent there. Tattu kasyat jnana ananugunam kasyat jnana anugunam iti vishesha. See, both are ignorant. The people who perform the karmas are also ignorant. The people who have renounced the desire, purpose and prohibited karmas, they are also ignorant. But the result which they are going, for some people the ignorance will be conducive for the knowledge, for some the ignorance will not be conducive for the knowledge. That is the difference. Vijñasyatu, but for the knowledgeable one, samsara karana abhavat swata eva kaivalyamiti dvau padarthau sutitau asmin shloke. The knowledgeable one does not have alpha. These are the two things, with reference to the ignorant and with reference to the knowledgeable one, about the rebirth is established in this shloka. Tatra atmajnana rahitasya samsaritve hetuhu karmatyaga asambhava uktah. For the one who has not gained the knowledge of the self, he is samsari, and the reason for samsari is because of being samsari, he cannot give up the karmas. That was also said. Nahi dehabhrata shakyam jaktum karmanya sheshatha. Through this, it is already established that he is not eligible to give up the karmas because he is a samsari. Now, tatra ajnasya karmatyaga asambhave ko hetu. What is the reason because of which the ignorant cannot give up the karmas? What is the reason? Karma hetu adhishthānādi panchake tādatmya abhimanah iti imam artham. So the reason for that is, the reason for him being bound to the karma is the adhishthana etc., the substratum etc., 5 causes. Attachment to that, identification with these 5, that is the cause for him being attached to the karmas. Iti imam artham chaturbihi shlokai prapancha. This is the idea which is going to explain in the next 4 shlokas. Tatra prathamena adhishthānādīni pancha vedanta pramanya maulani heyatvartham avashyam jnatavyani ityaha. So in the first shloka he is establishing that these 5 adhishthana etc., these 5 are not something which I deciphered, derived, I established, I created, etc. No, it has its root in the Vedanta. That is meaning it has a valid proof. And since it is established in the Vedanta, we should have to follow. If you have that idea, no, the Vedanta establishes this with the sense of you to give up, renounce them, not to follow them. That is said here in the shloka. Panche mani mahabaho karanani nibodhame sankhye kritante proktani siddhaye sarva karmanam. Pancha imani he mahabaho karanani me nibodha sankhye kritante proktani siddhaye sarva karmanam. Pancha imani he mahabaho, one with a broad shoulder, a powerful shoulder, a valorous shoulder, means a person with a physical and mental strength. Okay, pancha imani karanani, these are the 5 causes. Nibodhame, hear it from me, carefully hear it from me. Nibodha is not just saying bodha, carefully know it from me. Sankhye kritante proktani, sankhye proktani, kritante sankhye proktani. Kritante, krita means karma, the end of karma. Regarding the end of karma, Sankhya Proktan, it is said in Sankhya. Sankhya here is not the Sankhya Shastra, the sister of Veda, Yoga Shastra. No. Sankhya here is, as we saw in the second chapter, Sankhya Yogam. Sankhya is a jnana and yoga is karma. Okay. So, Sankhya means Vedanta. Proktani, it is said in the Vedanta. The end of karmas, regarding the end of karmas, it is said in the Vedanta, Siddhaye Sarvakarma, for gaining the results of all the karmas. That is said in the Vedanta. Imani Vakshamanani Pancha Sarvakarmanam Siddhaye Nishpattaye Karani Nirvartakani. These are the 5 reasons which give the results for the karmas. He Mahabaho, O valorous one, me mama paramaptasya sarvajnasya cha vachanat nibodha bodhum savadhano bhava. So from me, parama aptasya, one whose words are, Krishna is saying this. Parama aptasya. Parama apta means a person, regarding Krishna he is talking about. Apta means a person who does not lie, whose words are accepted to be pramana. I am the supreme apta and sarvajna, I am omniscient. Therefore, whatever I am going to say through my words, bodhum savadhano bhava, become very careful, focused, listen to me with focus. Nahi atyanta durjnanani etani anavihita chetasa shakyante jnatumiti. See, this is very difficult to gain anywhere else. Therefore, if you are not focused enough, you will not be able to understand it. So be focused. Cheta samadhana vidhanena tani stoti. By making you, asking you to remain focused, he is praising it, extolling that this knowledge regarding these 5 things, 5 causes. Mahabahutvena cha satpurusha eva shakto jnatamiti sucheti stutyarthameva. And by calling him Mahabahu, he is saying only a person who has a very strong mind, who has good karmas, only he can, one who has purity of mind, only he can gain the eligibility to understand this. Only he has the eligibility to understand this. That is it. Kim etani apramanakani eva tav vachanat jneyani. So why are you saying you listen to me from my words? Now I understand. You cannot find any valid proof for these anywhere else. Only your words are the only valid proofs. So, if someone has this kind of doubt, he says, Na ityaha. No, it's not just my words. Sankhya kritante proktani niradeshya purushartha sapraptyartham sarvanartha nivrityatam cha jnatavyani. So, Sankhya kritante proktani, it is said in the Vedanta Shastra regarding this karma. For what? For gaining the absolute supreme purushartha, human pursuit, the human goal, which is to gain the absolute bliss and get rid of all the troubles. Jnatavyani. This has to be known. Jivaha brahmaha tayoraikyam tadbodha upayoginascha shravanadeha padartha sankhyayante vyutpadyante asminti. Samyakhyayate iti sankhyaha. Sankhya means in which everything is nicely said, in which everything is clearly established. What are things which are clearly established? Regarding the Jiva, regarding the Brahman, regarding their identification, regarding the means to gain that knowledge, the Shravana, etc. All these are enumerated and nicely established there. Kya praksane dhatu. Iti Sankhyam. This is what Sankhya means. Vedanta Shastra. Simply put, it is Vedanta Shastra. Tasmin Atmavastu Matra Pribadake Kimartham Anatma Bhutani Avastuni Lokasiddhani cha Karma Karanani Pancha Pratipadyante. See, Vedanta Shastra should talk about self. Why should it talk about non-self, which is already gained through the worldly knowledge? You don't have to go through Vedanta to understand the knowledge which can be gained through the world. Karma Karani Pancha. Regarding the 5 causes for the karma. Why do you have to explain it in Vedanta? Ityataha Shastra Visheshan Kritanta. For this, he is giving an adjective to the Shastra, which is Kritanta. कृतांत शास्त्र. What does that mean? Kritam iti karma uchyate. Kritam means karma. Anta means tasya antah parismapti, the end for those karmas. Tattva jnana utpatya. How does it come to an end? To the knowledge of the self. Yatra tasmin kritante. Where through the knowledge of the self the karmas come to an end, that is kritanta. Shastre proktani. In that shastra it is said, प्रसिद्धानि एव लोके अनात्मभूतानि एव आत्मतया मिथ्या ज्ञान आरोपेण गृहीतानि. See, what you say is true. It is worldly thing and it is very famously known in the world. But still what happens is, in the world, though you know about these causes, but because of the erroneous ignorance, you identify it with yourself. That is the reason for all the troubles. That atmajna tatvajnanena badha siddhaye heyatvena uktani. Through the knowledge of the self, it has to be negated. It needs to be negated. For negating it, it is said in the Vedanta Shastra, that which is already established in the world is reiterated through Vedanta because of the identification which you have gained through with those causes. To bring it to an end, Vedanta Shastra speaks about it again. Yada hi anya dharma eva karma atmani avidya adhyaropitam iti uchyate. See, it is not the nature of self. It is something, some other nature, which is non-self. That karma is not the nature of the self. But still, what happens is you superimpose because of the ignorance on yourself, as yourself. That is what Bhagavan Bhashyakara says about Adhyaropa in Adhyasa Bhashya. Atasmin tad buddhirityavochama. In non-self, having the idea as it is self. Iti uchyate. Tada shuddhatma jnanena tad badhat karmano antah krito bhavati. So, that erroneous knowledge cannot be removed through any other means except through the right knowledge of the identification with the self. The individual self with the absolute self. And therefore, once that knowledge is gained, these karmas come to an end. Therefore, kritanto shastro. This shastra is said as kritanta. Okay? Ata atmanah karma asambandha pratipadanaya anatmabhutani vanchakarma karanani vedanta shastre maya kalpitani anuditani. So, to establish that Atma does not have any association with the karmas, and the karmas are not the nature of Atma, but it is a nature of Anatma. For establishing that, in the Vedanta Shastra, these karmas are referred to as, are established as a Maya Kalpitani. They are established as a something which are imagined through Maya, superimposed through Maya. They are illusions. Anuditani. They are reiterated. Whatever knowledge you have already gained, they are said again because you have identified itself with yourself. So it is established as a Maya. Na Advaita Atma. Since it is illusionary, there is no problem for the non-dual self. You are talking about self and you are talking about this karma. No, we are not talking about karma. The karmas are superimposed. Superimposed don't have any existence other than substratum. That is why he says, na advaita atmatra tatparyahani. The Vedantas don't lose its stand of establishing only the non-dual self. Tesham tadangatvena eva itaratra pratipadanat. And these karmas are referred to as its anga in the sense of limb, in the sense of superimposed limbs. Okay, there is no issue there. Ihapi. Here also. Sarvakarmantatvam jnanasya pratipaditam. Even here in this very Bhagavad Gita, we have already established the karma to be the means to bring the karma, the knowledge to be the means to bring the karmas to an end. Where did you see that? Sarvakarma akhilam partha jnane parisamapyate. All the karmas come to an end with knowledge. It is already said there. Tasmad jnana shastrasya karmantatvam upavannam. So therefore, the Shastra which establishes the knowledge is rightly said to be capable of bringing the karmas to an end. This we'll see. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.